In today's video, we're going to walk you through how to optimize your Google Ads campaign as a local service-based business to continuously generate more leads month after month. Now, firstly, in terms of local optimization, as a local service-based business, you obviously want to make sure that you're targeting the right target location for your campaign, because as a service-based business, you most likely want to operate within a certain target area and don't want to be getting inquiries from locations that are hours away from where you're based. So, as you already know, the first most important thing is to obviously make sure that you're targeting the location that you actually want to target for your campaign. But what I also recommend doing and have in place for most of the other campaigns that we're managing is also have location exclusions in place, which is actually really important if you're using a lot of, for example, broad match and phrase match keywords, because when you open up your campaign to appearing for a lot more searches, we see it happen more often where ads would appear outside your target area. So if we had phrase and broad match keywords running in this campaign, for example, what we would do is add location exclusions for every county in Ireland apart from Dublin, as that's the only area that we want to target for this campaign. And when it comes to targeting your area as well, it doesn't have to just be the place name itself, but you can also do a certain mile radius around the location that you want to target. Or if there's specific zip codes that you want to target as well, you can target that way as well. So for a lot of service-based businesses especially, it might suit even better to enter the location that you're based in and then draw, for example, a 10 or 20-mile radius around that location. And the last thing you want to double check then when it comes to locations is that when you're in your campaign settings, you just want to go to location options and make sure presence is selected. So that way, only those that are actually in your target area will be able to see your ads in the first place. Or else, if you have presence or interest selected, then those outside your target area that have ever shown interest, which could basically be anyone, could see your ad, which would include those from people outside your country that you do not want wasting your budget. Now, those are the only points I wanted to make on location targeting itself. But another point worth mentioning is using location specific keywords as well often perform even better than just service specific keywords inside campaigns. And we often use a lot of ad groups for areas as well as services. So, for example, if you were targeting a campaign that covers a major county like Dublin or Manchester, like we have in this case, you can look at all of the most highly populated areas within the area that you're targeting and make specific ad groups with separate keywords for those areas. Because here, for example, if somebody was looking for a roofer in one of these locations and they see an ad that matches up exactly with that location, so they see that there's a roofer local to them, then they're far more likely to call this company over anyone else because they didn't just see a generic roofing ad, but an ad that mentions that they're a roofer in the exact location that they search for. And just to show you an example of what this looks like, for example, in a roofing Manchester ad group, all of the keywords have the exact same intent. So if somebody is looking for a roofer in Manchester, they're far more likely to convert if they see an ad that says roofer in Manchester. So the intent is exactly the same. And this can obviously be applied to your service specific ad groups as well. So if you offer multiple services, you can have a separate ad group for each. But if you target an area that has multiple smaller areas within that area, then we found location specific ad groups perform even better in a lot of cases. And this can be reinforced even further then on your landing page as well, because once they click on the ad, the headline of your ad would say, for example, affordable and reliable roofing company in Manchester or whichever area that they search for. So they'll be reinforced even further that they're in the right place when they land on your landing page, which will help boost your overall conversion rate even further. Now, what I'd also recommend doing as a local service-based business is optimizing for phone calls. The main reason being is that generally phone calls convert into paid jobs at a higher rate than those that fill out a form on a landing page. So you really want to have your ads optimized as much as possible to get as many phone calls as you possibly can. And the ways we do this is, for example, here we have a call only campaign for this roofing company where we just simply have a call button where they can call directly from the ads. So having a call only campaign is one option. But if you're running responsive search ads or a regular search campaign, which we recommend in most cases that, usually makes the most sense, we'd recommend adding a call extension or a call asset, as it's now called, to your campaign so that if somebody sees your ad on mobile, they can call you directly because they'll see a call asset. And those that call directly from the call asset are usually really high intent customers because they didn't even need to go to your landing page first to be sold on what you offer. And to further help you get more phone calls from your ads, you always want to have a call to action in your ad saying, for example, call us today for a free quote, or a call name for all your service specific needs. So this would obviously vary from case to case depending on the service that you offer, but always have a call to action saying, for example, call us today for a free quote if you're looking to get more phone calls from your ads. And lastly, what you want to do as well to get more phone calls is for those that actually click on the ad and go to your landing page, have a call button as well, so that when they're on the mobile version, that they're also able to call you directly from the ad itself. Now that we touched on the more localized, specific optimization recommendations that you can apply inside your campaign, we're now just going to list off the general optimizations that you should be running, regardless of the type of campaign or service that you're offering, that you should be doing in every account to really make the most out of your budget and get the most amount of leads you can possibly be getting. And that would include your search term analysis, first of all, by going to insights and reports and then search terms. And I usually recommend doing this about twice a week. So that way you only have to work with a few days of data at a time. And that way you don't have to go through crazy long lists of search terms to either add as new keywords or negatives. So you never have to go through too many search terms at any one time. The next one then is you always want to just double check your conversion tracking and make sure it's set up correctly. So if you're looking to get form submissions and phone calls like we are in this campaign, to just double check this every so often to make sure that all your conversions are successfully being tracked. The next one then is your actual bidding strategy. So this is always going to vary depending on where you're currently at within your own campaign. So for example, with this campaign, we actually started with maximize clicks for the first month to just gather as much relevant conversion data as we could. And then when we had about 25 or 26 conversions, we then switched to maximize conversions with a target CPA, and we actually started with a target CPA of about €40. But since we managed to get our cost per lead down by going through all the optimizations that I'll also mention now, we've managed to get this target CPA now down to €27. And our actual cost per lead inside the campaign is actually less than this now, but we'd rather have our target CPA set a bit above what we're actually paying per lead to maximize the amount of traffic that we can be getting within our budget. But to keep an eye on the bidding strategy that you're using and update it where necessary depending on where you're currently at within your own campaign. The next one is looking at your ad groups on a regular basis, especially once you've got data on which ones are performing best and which are performing worst. And what I usually recommend doing is looking at the cost per conversion and conversion rate for each. And those ad groups that have the highest cost per leads are the ones that you might want to consider pausing, because you want to be focusing your budget on the ads that are actually performing best for you. So that's part of bringing down your cost per lead month after month. So when we first started running this campaign, we had a lot more ad groups than we're working with now. And now our budget is completely focused on the ad groups that have been performing best. Next, then you want to go through all of your keywords, and especially those that have gotten the most clicks. So you want to look at the keywords that actually have the most data, and what you want to do, especially for the keywords that have gotten a lot of clicks but no conversions from those clicks, is looking at those that are spending a lot of budget but are not getting a lot of conversions to show for it, and either pausing that keyword or selecting that keyword and looking at the search terms underneath that keyword to see if there's any specific search terms that can be added as negatives that would help improve the overall performance of that keyword. So, keyword optimization as a whole for those that actually have data, and also seeing what you can do to improve the quality scores of your keywords as well by going through your keywords and splitting up your keywords into more ad groups if necessary, if you know you could make more relevant ads and landing pages by having your keywords in separate ad groups. What you should also do as well is keep an eye on the auction insights report to see how you compare with your competitors in terms of impression share and where you're ranking overall in terms of how often you appear in the top three positions and how often you appear at the top of the page, and which competitors that you appear alongside often. So you can see, for example, if they're doing anything different with their ads that you might not have in place. So that way you can always try to make sure that you're standing out as much as possible. And what you can also do as well to improve your search impression share is look at your search loss impression share due to rank and search loss impression share due to budget, which are the two figures that show you where you're missing out on impression share, because you'll notice that these three numbers will always add up to 100%. So you can see in this campaign, for example, that we're highly limited on budget width, that if we just increased our daily budget from the €30 a day that it's at now to a budget that's much higher than that, then we'd be able to bring this 30% a lot closer to zero, and this 56% a lot closer to around 90. But that's what I would look at if you're looking to improve your overall impression share. The next one you want to optimize then is going through all of your assets and looking at the images, your business name, logo, site links, call outs, your call asset, and any other assets that you're using, and look at the conversion data specifically for each. Because, while click-through rate here, for example, is also really important because assets are really designed to improve the click-through rate on your ads, you also only want to run assets that are actually giving you a good conversion rate and cost per conversion as well. The next thing you can do then is actually start A/B testing your ad copy. And by A/B test your ad copy, what you want to do is, for example, if you're running separate ad groups and you have three ads in every one of your ad groups, what you first want to do is just firstly wait to see which of the three ads are performing best. And then once you have a clear winner of the three, you can pause the other two, duplicate the ad that's the winning ad, and make one change to that ad to continuously try and improve your click-through rates and conversion rates over time. And what you can also do then as well inside your campaign is start making bid adjustments. And where I recommend making bid adjustments is to, for example, ad schedule. So you're running your ads on different days of the week, and you can add negative or positive bid adjustments for the days of the week that are performing better or worse. You can do this for audiences then as well, so that includes age, gender, and possibly even household income, depending on where you're based. You can also do that for devices as well. So, for example, in this campaign, we're actually only running the ads on mobile phone because we just found early on that that's what was performing a lot better than tablets and computers. But in a lot of cases, for example, you might want to add a negative bid adjustment for tablets and see which is performing best between computers and mobile phones and make your positive or negative bid adjustments from there. And the same can be said for locations as well, especially if you're running your ads in multiple locations. You can see which locations are performing best and make your positive or negative bid adjustments as you see. And the last part as well of optimization is optimizing your landing pages. And by optimizing your landing pages, you might have a general template that you use at the very beginning, but what you can do then once you start seeing conversion data coming in is you can A/B test your landing pages. So have two variants running one alongside each other, where half the traffic will go to one variant and the other half of the traffic will go to the other variant under the same ad. And you can have a different headline or offer in each variant of the landing page. And you allow yourself to get some click and conversion data on each of those landing pages. And once you have enough data on which landing page is a clear winner or loser, you can optimize from there and continuously A/B test your landing pages over time. And those are the main optimizations you can make apart from this really localized specific recommendations I made earlier on in the video. But if you'd like a more detailed insight on how to go through that list of optimization tasks I went through towards the second half of this video, I'll leave a link to that video right above that goes through all of that in more detail so you know exactly how to optimize your Google Ads campaign from start to finish.